Hey, everybody, welcome to our second Nonprofit Appreciation Week event. My name is Naveen Bansal, founder and executive director of Small Biz Cares. I'm going to throw it over to Taylor Slovak, who's our director of membership here in a second, who's going to kind of take the lead on today's panel. But wanted to welcome you all. Small Biz Cares, as you saw in that short video, Small Biz Cares is really about engaging small businesses for community impact. We launched in 2018, and we've been able to really inspire and engage small businesses and others in the community to help support other nonprofits, help volunteer, help fundraise, help provide support for education, and help really build a community of small businesses. And so, um, you know, as you're out there and if you're thinking about ways to get more involved, and if you work for or own a small business, we've got a place for you with Small Biz Cares. Nonprofit Appreciation Week. This is our second year doing it. It's all really about engaging or really about inspiring others to really show appreciation for nonprofits. We know one of our core values with Small Biz Cares is to be able to support other nonprofits and really inspire the community to do so. And so we wanted to set up a week where we could showcase nonprofits, provide a platform to give to nonprofits, and really shine a light on all the great things that are happening in our community. And so, thank you all for joining us. In addition to this live event here, we'll be recording the session and posting that on our website. And so, for those folks that couldn't make it on, we'll be sharing this again with you on our website as we go forward. With that, thank you for joining us. I'm going to toss it over to Taylor Slovak. I'm going to say bye for now, and Taylor's going to take the lead and get us going. Thanks.
Thanks, Naveen. Hi, everyone. I'm super excited to be here on day 2 of Nonprofit Appreciation Week's virtual panel series. Today, we have a really exciting panel full of change makers in the community focused on workforce development and initiatives that really remove barriers for people being able to join and rejoin workforces. And we know that workforce development is such a crucial cause to ensure that everyone has an opportunity to thrive, and especially now more than ever given the last 18 months. So we're really thankful to have everyone here. I want to take a quick moment to thank our sponsors for Nonprofit Appreciation Week. Our presenting partner, the Better Business Bureau of Central Ohio. Thank you, guys. We have our lead sponsors, Outreach Promotional Solutions, Ahola HR Solutions, and the CYP Club. And our community sponsors, Borja Virtual, who we can thank for this wonderful platform that we have today, Remo, to be able to join together. The Columbus Foundation, HW & Co., and Giraffe. So thank you guys so much. You all are such a key piece to, Small Biz Cares being able to put on the events that we do, and we appreciate you. So I want to quickly let you guys know about a couple of other things we have going on for Nonprofit Week. We have our walkathon. It's the Stomp Out Hunger virtual walkathon going on, and all of the proceeds raised from the walkathon go to a Future 50 project called Fund a Fridge, and they have a project to place 10 community refrigerators throughout food scarce areas in Columbus. And I am excited to say that we're $46 away from raising $2,000. And our goal is to raise $2,500 throughout the week, which will fund one of the fridge sites that will stay and allow people to access food whenever they need it without stigma. So thanks to the Fund a Fridge team and everyone who's been donating. If you want to learn more, you can head over to our event page. I will drop the link in the chat. Also, Nonprofit Appreciation Week, as the title says, is about really showing gratitude and thanks to our nonprofits in the community that fill in the gaps and really make Columbus and the region just a wonderful place for everyone who may not have all the opportunities that we do. So thank you. And we want to let you know, you can go over to our giving page. All of the nonprofits that are participating in our panels this week are on there, as well as all of our nonprofit partners. We work with many nonprofits in the area, and unfortunately didn't have panels room for everybody. So we want to give an opportunity to learn more about all of our nonprofit partners. If you want to donate directly to them, you can do so easily on the giving page, and I'll drop that link as well. And I want to thank and welcome Libby. Libby Villavicenio with Libby V and Associates is our co-moderator today. She is an incredible nonprofit advocate, an advisor, and a consultant, and has a really long tenure of nonprofit leadership and mentorship. And she's one of our board members. So thanks so much. We're really excited to have you join us today, Libby.
Thank you so much, Taylor. Appreciate it. Happy to be here today. I always like to help celebrate nonprofits. So
Absolutely.
Appreciate that. And thank you for the nice introduction too. I'm super excited about this session and can't wait to hear from Courtney, Mary, Joy, and Beth. So I hope that should we go ahead and invite them up and have them join now?
Absolutely.
Okay, let's do it. So if you all could make your way to the stage, they need to do that themselves, or is Chris bringing them up?
There they go. Hello, guys.
Awesome. There's Courtney. All right, Mary, Joy, and Beth, come up on stage when you can. Here comes Mary.
I like to think of this as a time where they're walking down, right?
Hi, too.
They're slowly bringing us up.
Right? It's very dramatic. I feel like we need some music, for them to walk down the ramp to join us.
There we go.
Yay,
Hey, everyone.
nice to see all of you. Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear from all of you.
It's the ladies
I'm
panel
just
today. I
gonna
love it.
ask you to
Yes.
introduce yourself. I'll ask you to introduce yourselves. We'll go around, and if we could go in the order of Courtney, Mary, Joy, and then Beth, that would be great. So Courtney, you want to introduce yourselves?
Of course. Thank you so much for having me. We're so thankful for Small Biz Cares and what they're doing to bring nonprofits together and raise awareness as they're connecting small businesses to the community. So we've been partnering them, I think, since Naveen dreamed about this a few years ago. So we're just ecstatic to still be part of it. I'm Courtney. I'm executive director at She Has a Name, and we're a Columbus-based anti-human trafficking nonprofit. So we're responding to human trafficking through education, advocacy, and by caring for those who are locally impacted. I've been on staff for 5 years, served as a volunteer before that. So my role is managing our training program out in the community, as well as caring for our staff team and protecting our mission and vision.
Okay. Hi, everybody. And I'm sorry, I have 3 tabs along this right in front of my monitor, so I couldn't see anything. Hi, I'm Mary McCarthy. So I am a co-founder and the executive director of the Women's Small Business Accelerator. So we have been around for 9 years, and our focus is on assisting all women that would love to figure out how to take control of their finances and their career by launching a small business and developing the concept, monetizing it, and then helping them grow and achieve their business dreams.
Hi, I'm Joy Reyes, and I'm the CEO, Director of Strategic Initiatives for Columbus Literacy Council. We're also branded as CLC Works, and we have been an agency here in Central Ohio for over 50 years, and I've been with the agency for the last 14. So one of our major objectives for the panel for what we're talking today is to discuss some of our workforce programming. CLC, we do programming from ages pre-K through adult on a spectrum of all kinds of services and case management services and barrier removal. But for our workforce programs, we are really interested in helping individuals that are in our communities that we serve in to really be able to obtain gainful employment and move them forward. And those are some of the things that we're focused on with today's panel. And yes, thank you all so much for having us. I'm delighted to be here, and this is a great opportunity to share our story, to learn about others, and to join in partnership with others as well. So thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Beth Gifford, and I'm the founder, president, and CEO of Columbus Works. And our mission is poverty elimination through full-time work. So we provide workforce training in one of our 5 learning centers throughout the city of Columbus. So we're in the urban core. And then we have over 100 formalized agreements with employers inside 270 to hire Columbus Works members. And we provide long-term wraparound support services. So 5 to 7 years of coaching for job retention, barrier removing in legal, transportation, housing, daycare. We have behavioral health on site. And our goal is just to enable those of our neighbors who desire to change their lives to reach their goals and to impact their family in the way that they desire to impact their family. And so we're thankful to be here today, and we appreciate the opportunity to collaborate with my peers who are also so engaged in this work.
Taylor, I was going to ask you if you could ask the first question for me, please. I'm having a little technical difficulty for now.
Absolutely, no problem at all. Well, welcome again, everyone. I think you all are doing fantastic things, and I can't wait for, we're building out our 2022 programming. So I look forward to the opportunity to sit down with you all and figure out how we can help further your initiatives. And as we jump into the panel, I know we'll be able to help answer that question for our attendees so they can figure out how to support your missions as well. So I want to talk about really the last 18 months has been obviously just a whirlwind for every industry and for our employees specifically, almost across the board. We saw a lot of job loss and transitioning into, or a need to transition into different sectors as each one had to shut down temporarily. So I'm curious how has the environment and events over the last years impacted your efforts and the need for skills training and workforce development in our community? If we want to kind of kick it off, if anyone wants to go first, we kind of want to keep it, light and casual. So.
Well, I'll go first. And as always, you're always not sure in a virtual if we're going to talk over each other. But, mine's a little bit different, right? When we talk about entrepreneurship, we're creating our own jobs and we're creating jobs for other people. And, the last 18 months, we've heard all of the stories and the statistics. Women were really impacted by COVID, and somewhat disproportionately so. A lot of businesses were shut down. The business owners were concerned about getting back to running their businesses. They needed to figure out how to pivot. They didn't have enough money to pay their bills, even though they still wanted to work, but they didn't have the opportunity, but their landlord still wanted them to pay their rent. So what the Women's Small Business Accelerator did was we created a business crisis team. We launched it within a week, and it was free mentoring for any woman business owner that was struggling and didn't know what to do, to help them figure out how to pivot, how to rethink what their business was all about, so that they could figure out ways to generate revenue and stay in business. So we have worked with over 140 women since last March. That's what we did. We also created a grant program.
And I feel like this, I can't think of another time where we saw so many passion projects turn into opportunity, and I can't imagine what a resource that must have been. It's amazing. 140 women, that's a lot. So congratulations.
It is true. More businesses are started in a down economy than in an up economy.
Yep.
And a lot of times it's because all of a sudden you don't have a job. You have a skill set. You need to make money, and you figure out how to use your expertise and knowledge into generating some revenue for yourself. So, we help people figure out what they could do in order to stay afloat. Yes.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Does anyone else want to jump in?
I'll share that in 2020, when the pandemic it wasn't that it started, but let's just start at the point where the governor asked he began to shut down things. We discovered that the digital divide was real, and that those of our neighbors living in the urban core in Columbus did not have access to stable Wi-Fi. Mobile devices were about all they had. They didn't really have a laptop or a computer. And then you add to it that their children were home from school. So, it just created a lot more barriers for those of our neighbors that we serve that already have barriers to not only obtaining employment, but sustaining employment. So fast forward to 2021, and the digital divide is still real. And children may be back in school, but they might be quarantined if they are, exposed. And daycares did not open back up with full capacity. The capacity has never come back to pre-COVID levels. And so the barriers are the same barriers as pre-COVID, but they've been exacerbated by the pandemic. And those of our neighbors who are most vulnerable to any kind of economic change have really felt this. It's not that there aren't jobs. There are tons of jobs, and we are experiencing wages going up. But if daycares don't have full capacity, or you can't trust that your child is really going to be able to be in school, and if they're home, you're going through food faster. So you need food pantries to help the month, meet your monthly needs. It creates so much more trauma and for that family, and so many more barriers to address. And so we have ramped up. We have behavioral health on site, but we've ramped up additional assistance to help those of the neighbors that we serve deal with the anxiety and to be frank, the fear of it all, and help them make decisions so that they still go to work, and they're doing life while they go to work, and they're learning what that looks like in the midst of all this sort of chaos. And so that's our approach.
And I'll follow Beth, because a lot of what her organization has done, and also what Mary has discussed, those are things that for CLC Works, those are things that we're seeing as well. The digital divide continues to be something that is, as Beth shared in her words, very real. It's ever present. We think about, well, who doesn't have technology? Well, a lot of our participants have technology. They have a cell phone. But the technology that's required, for example, in some of the workforce programs that you need to pass an exam or to take an industry recognized credentialing program, it requires a very specific computer that has to not just be the computer for the test, but you have to have monitoring. So you have to have the ability to film yourself while you're taking your test. So the digital divide is real when it comes to some of the workforce elements. That was just one example. CLC, like a lot of the agencies, we were very impacted by what happened. One of the things that I commend my staff for is we have a great team, and we have a group of individuals that are very caring and want to see service provision to this community to help their neighbors. And one of the things we were able to do was when the governor announced that we were shutting down, we met and launched virtual programs. So we launched programs that were accessible on a smartphone that our participants could engage with. And we've maintained that. Actually, as Mary said, necessity is the mother of invention. And with what some of the entrepreneurial activities, we've launched a full audio video recording studio that we now have as part of a social enterprise. But we launched it out of the need to have it to be able to continue to reach our participants, whether they were our young kids or the workforce development age individuals. We needed something to be able to reach them. And I'm pleased we were able, last year, our numbers, we served over 400, I think it was 492 through our rent and utility assistance, which was way up from what we had served before. And I'm pleased to say it was up because the demand was up, but we were able to serve more, and the funds were available to help. And we had, over 400 new participants knocking at our door, trying to get engaged with us because they're looking for employment, and what they had done in the past wasn't working. Filling out the paper applications doesn't work. They need the technology to be able to apply. The job centers around town had closed. So they were really looking for ways to be able to move forward. And just providing that full case management wraparound service for them while they're with us is very important. And we were able to create and launch customized programs that CLC staff designed. So we designed programming. We run a program still every week called Mindful Monday. And you can log on with us and participate in an hour-long session of mindfulness each Monday. You can watch it on our YouTube channel. We run a physical activity program twice a week. And we started that because the youth that we serve were at home and their parents were, what do we do with them? So we gave them exercises to do. We run that twice a week and we still continue that. Our biggest thing that we launched during the heightened part of the pandemic, and we are continuing it as well, is a program called A Walk in My Shoes. And we run that weekly on Wednesdays, where we interview someone in their career field. We walk through how they got to be where they're at, and we save those. And so we have a repertoire of all of these individuals that have shared their authentic career path. And we have that available when someone comes in and they're talking, this is what they're interested in doing. We're able to guide them in that direction. And I think the other big piece that CLC really worked hard to obtain was, in addition to being able to provide the services and maintain those, we were able to record our curriculum, record a lot of our content. And by recording it, we were able to generate now programming that's available. They can tap into it. If they can't come in, they can tap into it on the cell phone and take their classes, or on a computer, but they can tap in and do that. Or now that we're back open, they can come on site. But now there's more options than just coming on site. And we were fairly adept at being able to stay in touch with everyone. One of the things we had started pre-COVID was small chat rooms. And what we found is, because we had these chat groups, we were able to continue those and maintain contact with everyone. So those are some of the things that we have done during this time. I think just the whole concept of the virtual programming that we did and providing, so for our virtual studio, the industry recognized certificate, we're offering certificates in Adobe Premiere Pro. They can actually be on site, practice with us, participate in our studio, gain the experience, and then we have employers that we have enlisted that are interested in hiring someone for their social media or their graphics department to funnel them out. And so for all of our programs, we've aligned employment to the career paths that we're offering.
That's fantastic. I think we've heard that a lot from everyone today, kind of addressing the whole person and realizing that, in order for someone to be successful, hold a job, keep their head afloat, there are so many other pieces in someone's life that kind of has to be working together. And I love that everyone here is kind of finding different ways to address that. And Courtney, I was thinking about your organization throughout listening to everyone and looking at what She Has a Name does. The people that you help are already facing so many challenges and so much trauma, and really just trying to find stability. And throughout the last 18 months, I can't imagine what that's been like for the folks that you help. If you want to talk a little bit about that and how you've been able to, help them through this, I'd love to hear it.
Absolutely, yes. So in working with survivors of human trafficking, in addition to the general barriers of poverty or lack of education or childcare needs, they're also coming out of experiencing incredibly intense trauma. So at She Has a Name specifically, we're looking at what are some of the barriers to you being ready for the workforce, and we're taking care of those issues. So to be more specific, we have support groups, both for survivors. These are women that have only been sober and off the streets maybe 3 to 6 months, as well as for what we call thrivers. And those are women who have been sober for years. They've graduated from recovery programming. They're in the workforce, but they still are daily fighting for sobriety. They're daily fighting to just work on the trauma that they've experienced. So those support groups offer a space. The women have shared, like, this is a space where I don't have to be put together and I can come and just be filled and build up. We have volunteers with She Has a Name, as well as our program director, who are professionals in that space and can, as Joy mentioned, here's an example of what my career path looked like, or here's how I'm managing my house while I'm working. And I think those conversations have been really helpful. And those groups were running pre-pandemic, and I think they helped sustain those women through the challenges that then a global pandemic brought to their personal experience. Another two programs that we run look at financial investment into these survivors. So the one that we've been running the longest is our Strategies for Success academic scholarship, where in addition to financial aid for a college degree, we're also seeing many of these women, they want to go to college because that is where they see the next step for their career. But the academic setting has a lot of barriers for them, having experienced trauma. So they get a mentor in addition to a scholarship. And we're always looking for professional mentors. That's a great way as a business owner to provide support to She Has a Name. So for example, our last round, there was a woman who completed her master's degree in the hospitality industry, and she was looking for someone who had management experience that she could walk alongside, not only as she finished her degree, but as she started in her new career path. So that's a great way to walk alongside us. And the last program I think that's most closely tied to workforce development is the April Thacker Dream Scholarship. So we awarded a scholarship to a survivor back in 2020. This was just before the pandemic hit. And she passed away from health complications, but her scholarship funds had already, we had earmarked those for April. So we went to her family and her employer, and they said, what if we started a different kind of fund? College is one version of success or a path towards workforce development. What are some other things that are also barriers? So we've seen some really incredible investments made through that. That can be a survivor goes through a dream session where we vision board with counselors and with survivors in advanced recovery, so that women earlier in their recovery can see, I'm worthy of investing in myself, and here's an agency that's going to come alongside me as I move towards whatever that dream is. So that's something like paying off a car loan so that they have reliable transportation for work. Those are things like buying furniture that these women are living on their own for the first time. And now they have something that they're excited to have people over because they have a nice couch and they have, a bedroom suite, which they've never owned before. Or it's women that are starting and sustaining businesses or counseling resources. These are survivors that are helping other survivors. So it's been incredibly inspirational to see when we invest in these small specific needs, how that just helps them understand their own self-worth, and that really elevates. They understand, like, I'm worthy of these dreams that I have.
I just think what you guys do is awesome. And thank you for sharing that. I wanted to make sure for all of our attendees, if you guys have a question, please feel free to drop it into the chat. You'll see that little Q&A next to you in the chat. If you want to pop it in there, we'll make sure that they get answered from our panelists. And so I think we've touched a little bit about this, but I would love to hear about maybe one impactful project that you've completed in the last year or that you're working on now. Maybe it's in the works that you guys are really proud of, that you think, is helping remove those barriers.
I'll go for CLC. One of our projects was really recognizing the short-term mentality that most funders have in regards to workforce development. So most funders approach things thinking that you're going to be able to get someone in the door and out the door, and 3 weeks later, they're going to have a job and they're going to have a life and they're set and they're on their way. Maybe a little longer than 3 weeks, but their concept of being able to accomplish it, it just doesn't happen that fast. And each individual, their case is customized. There might be a framework of programming that is available for them, but each individual really is an individual. They're very different. What they need is different, and the time that they need in the program is different. So being able to secure additional funding was a major accomplishment for our agency to get that funding that is now allowing us to serve them over a longer period of time. For me, that was great, because we've pushed back, explaining that it doesn't happen overnight. And what good is it if we can help someone obtain that position and be moving along, and then suddenly a new barrier comes up or an old barrier reoccurs? If we're not there to support them during that time, we lose the entire gain, or there's the potential to lose the entire gain.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to stay with those individuals for a longer period of time is really important, and it's something we're really pleased with. And the other piece that we are very pleased with is we have been able to secure some funding to even start on concrete workforce development with younger youth. We've been serving high school age, but now we have some funding to be serving even our elementary age children. So they're not just learning about STEM education. They're learning about the full field of work opportunities. They're learning about what's required to be employed. It's not just you have to have a great resume. It's all of the skills that you learn moving up through the grade system. So we are able to provide some of that education. And for us, that extra funding to do those pieces, I really believe by this time next year, the stories that we will be able to tell are going to be even more remarkable, because it's going to be a more fully rounded program.
That's awesome. And I think, like, you're right, 3 weeks isn't, like, we all know, right? Life happens and it generally keeps happening. And to be able to have that consistency and that partner alongside that pathway has got to be so critical to being able to continue, on that path of improvement. And the new thing, there's a really good documentary called, I think it's Making Ends Meet. And it really shows just like this cyclical struggle of, you get where you need to be, you get that job, and then something happens, and it can be something as simple as your child getting sick, where all of a sudden, now things that are outside of yourself, outside of your own control, have really thrown that wrench in all the progress you've made. And to be able to have you all as a support system has got to be huge. So that's congratulations. It's very exciting.
Oh, thank you. I'm thrilled because it's really great for the people. So
For sure.
go ahead, Beth.
Well, Joy, I love hearing you talk about CLC, and Joy and I have known each other for a minute or two, and I'm just thrilled, just so thrilled, because, really poverty is very complex and workforce is very complex, and it takes multiple services, multiple approaches, all of us working together collectively to serve our neighbors, because each family has a different need. And so I love hearing Joy talk about the neighbors they serve. I'll just share that this year, I just didn't think we would launch anything. I was just thrilled that we made it through 2020. I felt like it was the longest decade ever. And, but we did launch a credential resulting business computing class with the partnership of Columbus City Schools Adult Education in our Franklinton headquarters. And so we have 3 major employers who are hiring those that complete the program. And we've now added additional desktop applications to that. And we timed it so people could go to work and still come and participate in this upskilling opportunity in just a warm and friendly environment. We have a computer lab, and I'm just thrilled that we were able to offer that, and we're seeing participants experience significant wage increases as a result. $5 to $10 an hour actually increases in pay, because they now have a more marketable skill than they did before they came. We're always asking, what did we do? How well do we do it? And who's better off as a result? And so I'm thrilled that we were able to introduce that this year. And I can't imagine us not continuing this into the future.
the wage increases. It's so necessary. What about you, Mary or Courtney?
Well, I'm happy to share. So I shared what we did last year, right? We created our business crisis team, which was so needed and so valuable. But an initiative that we're working on that we hope we will have launched by the end of 2022 is we are working on creating an angel group as part of our organization. We know X Squared Angels shut down about 2 years ago, and OTAF is now currently taking a new round of funding. So there is an area in the market, especially for women entrepreneurs, with a real strong need for angel funding. So we are going to try to fill that hole. So it's a big initiative and we're aggressively working on it. So anyone wants to help us, come give me a call.
I'm new here. I'm from Texas. I'm not sure. Can you tell me a little bit about what that program X-Ray Angel was and what you'll be doing with that?
Well, X-Word Angels was an organization created by Carol Clark, and it was specifically to help fund women entrepreneurs. So you had to have at least a woman in the C-suite. Our focus is for women entrepreneurs. You have to be, a founder and 51% woman owned. But it is to provide investment dollars for women entrepreneurs. We know that women get roughly 7% of angel funding that is out there. It's a very small amount. And yet the outcomes of women entrepreneurs are showing that they really can grow a business and exit for a nice return. So we feel there's a need in the marketplace, and that is what we are working on doing. So hopefully by this time next year, if I'm back on the panel, I can tell you that we have fully launched.
Are we looking for that press release? When are you planning on launching? Do you know?
We are in the process of pulling it all together. We have a great committee that is helping us pull it together, including some people from Rev One to help us build this. And we have Carol Clark's support to get it up and going again. So yeah, we're excited. It's a big undertaking.
We'll be on the lookout. All right, Courtney, tell us what you guys have been up to or what you have in the works.
Yeah, so we use the shutdown time to incubate a few ideas that we had been doing for years, but hadn't figured out exactly what form they would take. That gave us a pause from, the things that nonprofits do in a live world with events and meetings and those kinds of things. So we definitely grew the April Thacker Dream Scholarship. We are seeing about double the double the participants every round that we offer it. But I think it also helped to jumpstart our reach outside of Central Ohio as well as we turn more things online. We had our first out-of-state application for the Strategies for Success Scholarship. So we are helping to fund a woman in Washington State who's completing her master's, a survivor. So we were really encouraged to see the types of women that we had dreamed of serving and walking alongside that are now being able to connect through greater connectivity digitally. That was pretty cool. A lot of the growth and programs that we did are outside of workforce development, so I'm happy to talk about them, but they might not be as applicable for today's conversation specifically.
We'd love to hear about it.
Oh, okay. So two that I'll mention. One is we launched an online learning platform. We've been spending the last decade training the Central Ohio community through live trainings on how to understand what human trafficking is and how to respond appropriately. So we took that online in partnership with Accelerate Media and the Harry C. Morris Foundation. But I think one of the cool pieces about that is that we created an adult track, which of course takes the content we've been training for 10 years and puts it online. But we were able to work with Accelerate's expertise in developing content specifically for 11 to 18-year-olds who are actually the most at risk for online exploitation and leading to human trafficking. So that was just a huge dream that we've had. I mean, the whole 5 years that I've been on the staff team, we've been trying to get something online. And I think just the market conditions of a pandemic, of everyone going online, helped to finally have, the funding available and the time and the resources to create and launch that. And then the second one I'll mention is we now own Columbus's Private John School. So that's a program for first-time solicitation offenders. Part of their sentencing is to attend our 6-hour course where they learn about the public health implications of solicitation. They're hearing from a survivor of human trafficking about her experience in prostitution. But they're also taking a time, we're working with OSU's industrial design program to really have it be more reflective of seeing, how did I land here and how am I going to shift my perceptions or the resources around me? We often find that it's broken people that are hurting broken people. So we've been just thrilled at how much that program has grown. I shared before the panel, during the pandemic, we were seeing like 7 to 10-ish attendees when we ran it 4 times a year. And now we're seeing more like 40 to 50 plus men, women, and members of the LGBTQ plus community that are attending.
I know what you guys do is just so it's a heavy topic. It's so necessary. I don't feel like enough people know about it, and be able to educate our youth before it happens, and just to really recognize all that is as a mom, I get goosebumps just thinking about it. It's, we shouldn't have to teach these things. And I think a lot of people just, because it's such a difficult thought to comprehend, it gets missed. So I love that you guys are able to really start developing, resources to educate our young ones. So thank you.
Taylor, can I just add something?
Yeah.
I think among all the human services sort of pillars of work, if you will, workforce is the most complex, because work is a social determinant of health. And work also reduces recidivism relative to substance abuse and addiction, incarceration, self-sabotaging behaviors, victimization. It really touches so many areas. And there's such a wide swath of capability and trauma levels of those of our neighbors who enter through the workforce door. And so it is a heavy lift. What Courtney does is, what her organization does is so important and life-changing. And then many of us also end up in some fashion serving those same neighbors or referring to one to another. It really is a collaborative effort that impacts not only the neighbor we serve, but their entire family, and has a generational impact. And it's not that other human services work streams aren't important. They are so important. But this work you brought up, Taylor, is a heavy lift, and it's a heavy lift that has a generational impact. And so thank you for letting me just share that.
No, I love it. Absolutely. When you were talking about, going through the John School, I can't imagine for so many, it's like, okay, well, what's next? Where do I start next? If this isn't my future, what is? And that's where so many organizations like you guys come in, and just being able, I love hearing, Beth, Joy, that you guys have been able to work together. And I hope that we continue to really focus on partnerships in these sectors, if you will, because it's working as a silo. I think it only alienates the people that we serve. And this discussion, if anything, today has really shown just how connected everything is. And that's exactly why I wanted to have Courtney's organization on today, is just realizing that there is something that has led to everyone in the journey, like where they are on that journey and that path. Something has impacted them that has, there's trauma, there's barriers to opportunity, and being able to really, figure out and get down to the root causes of those things and work on healing and addressing those issues. I think only just continues to knock down those barriers and provide opportunity, and make sure that we have opportunity for everybody. So thank you guys so much. This has been awesome. All right, real quick, I don't think we have any questions in the chat, but how can people get involved and support your organizations?
They can sign up today. We have an orientation training for volunteers tomorrow evening, 5:30 to 7. And we run those typically every other month. And you can volunteer with our organization across a spectrum of services. You could be a mentor, you could work in our children's areas, you could work in the workforce center, helping individuals as they move through their certificate programming. You can work with our New American Welcome Center. So there's a whole spectrum of things that individuals can volunteer and do, from those activities or work on the admin side, special events, or in our studio. So there's a whole bunch of things, and our website is clcworks.org. And if you visit the website, there will be a link for signing up or follow us on social media. We always post our new orientations during that time on that station.
Timing with this then, Joy. Thank you. I will.
Yeah.
I'll check out that orientation for sure.
Okay.
So for
I can
Columbus
jump
Works-
in.
Courtney, go ahead.
I was just going to jump in because I dropped something in the chat before I knew this would be the next question. So with She Has a Name, we often encourage people to learn more about human trafficking first. I know there's a lot of misconceptions out there. So we think starting with base knowledge is a great place to start. And it's also a launching pad if you'd like to get involved with the cause in any way. Not only to get connected at She Has a Name, but we bring in a dozen-ish of our partner agencies so you can see how you can use your skills in combating human trafficking. So I dropped that link in the chat. Our virtual training is actually this weekend as well. Great timing. Friday night and Saturday morning. We'd love to see you there. Some other ways too, I think, especially looking at businesses, we've seen some really incredible businesses in Columbus that have gotten creative in how they're financially investing in She Has a Name specifically, whether that's, an appreciation event where kickbacks go to She Has a Name, or awareness from a certain product being sold that, is created in partnership with She Has a Name. I mentioned business mentors needed for our Strategies for Success and Dream Scholarship awardees, and investing financially. Absolutely. Anyone on this panel will be happy to receive your dollars, but know that they're being invested in removing those barriers and creating a more equitable workforce. So you can do that. I'll drop our giving link in the chat as well.
So I'll just share, if you are joining us today and you are an employer of any size and you have full-time employment with career growth available, we would love to talk with you. We're always looking for new employer partners because one job does not fit all. And at Columbus Works, we're all about job fit. And so every human being has been created to have an interest and a passion that is uniquely theirs. And so we are always open and looking to develop relationships with new employers. So I dropped in the chat again our website. There's a Reach Us link there. Just fill that out, click that you're an employer partner, and we'll reach out to you. And we'd love to talk with you about the career opportunities you have available.
And Beth, will you tell me a little bit about what does it mean to be an employer partner?
So employer partners, we have a formalized process to become an employer partner, and there's some criteria that are involved, and they make a commitment to hire Columbus Works members in job fit. We're all about job fit, not checking a box. And they also commit to talking with us and having a partnership that's open, so that, because we're going to be working with them for a long period of time, because Columbus Works members sustain employment, and we're coaching for job retention. And so we're making a commitment now then to come together collaboratively to support that member in their career endeavors and development. And it becomes really a three-way partnership between the employer, the Columbus Works coach, and the member.
So much. Mary.
Okay, so I put our website in the chat as well. Just reach out to us. We actually have all of the information for what you can do to volunteer to be a part of. We would love to have you. We've got a lot of great committees. We have our programming, and we do a lot of really fun, exciting events all around entrepreneurship.
Well, I feel like I've said it a million times here today, but I'm just so excited about this panel. This was really a really great conversation, and I just love hearing all of the different initiatives and ways that everyone's working together to serve the holistic person to ensure that that their future is just as bright as everyone else's, and that any adversity that they're facing is not a full stop to success and whatever that means for the individual. I just want to thank you guys each for joining us. I know everyone is super busy, especially this time of year. It means a whole lot to have you all on here. I want to thank our production team at Borja Virtual. You guys make sure that things run smoothly, like especially when my internet drops off 2 minutes before the panel starts, like we did. So thank you guys so much for your time and your contributions to Nonprofit Week. I want to open up the floor. So we're going to be able to, if you guys can stay on, if our panelists can stay on, I don't know if you can, but we're going to open the floor to be able to network so that if anyone has any questions, if you want to connect with a specific nonprofit, or if you would connect with other like-minded, folks out there who are interested in doing good and making an impact in the community, you'll be able to do so. So when we go back to conversation mode, you can see who else is in the building by hovering over their icon at the virtual table. And then to join a table, you would just double click on it. And we hope you guys are able to make some great connections. One more plug for our giving page. If any of the fantastic stories you've heard today have inspired you to put your dollars or your time towards them, you can go to our giving page. I'll drop it in the chat one more time. And if you want to explore some of our other nonprofit partners, we really have a fantastic group of nonprofits that we work with, and you can see all of those there. And I am behind on getting my steps in. We've committed to, I think, 10,000 steps a day. I did not get mine in yesterday for the walkathon, but if you'd love to support our walkathon, please do so. We really are looking forward to fully funding that fridge site. So thank you guys, and happy connection. Oh, Naveen got his 10 can at Orange Theory. I posted a picture. I'm gonna make him send me like a daily shot of his efforts to, maybe it'll boost mine. Thank you guys. I look forward to chatting with you at our tables.
Bye.
And
Okay.
really quickly, tomorrow we are taking a break from our panel series so that our presenting partner, so we can catch their torch awards, but we will be back on Thursday for a really great conversation on creating equity. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.